It's going.
Hello, yeah, hello. Welcome to Mostly Minnesota Music Podcast Edition. I'm Ann Tracy, and I'm here with Mary Bew. Thank you for being with me.
I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for having me.
I know. I was listening to your new music today, and I just think, oh, I could take this conversation in so many different directions. We could go super light, and I do want to talk about some of the accolades you received in the next week. Or I feel like we could share some notes on some bad boyfriends.
Okay, let's go.
Maybe we have a type and we share a type. I listen to the music and I'm like, yes,
Dun,
yes,
dun.
yes. We'll start with the light.
Great.
Congratulations. It was yesterday, right? City
Yes.
Pages.
Yes, City Page's best songwriter of the year. Oh my God.
That's fantastic.
It's
That
amazing.
that congratulations. That has got to be like
Yes, I just feel I mean, I didn't even know it was coming. So I woke up, I was on my phone like yelling at myself for being on my phone too much in the morning, and then Katie Vernon tagged me and I was like, "What the Oh my God."
what?
So, yeah, such an honor, and just really like I just recorded a little thank you note video, and it's like a relief. It's like a weird relief because I've been performing, and I put my first album out in 2000.
Yeah.
So it's like 20 years, and just like feeling like, wow, good. They see me. Someone sees me and like is validating. So it's like in the yoga world, when you're ascending and becoming more evolved, they say you get like special gifts called cities, but you're not supposed to get attached to them. You're supposed to just be like, okay, cool, I can do this now, but then just keep going. So
Okay.
I'm like trying to not get a big head about it, but but it's like a true honor, and I'll just keep going, I guess.
I think you're allowed a couple of days of just. It's like your birthday. I am
Totally.
three. I am best songwriter 2020 Minnesota. I mean you have to bask in it. You have to. You know, you
Thank you.
you have to do everybody the honor of just soaking it in for, you know, because it's because I suppose like yoga or like rock climbing or anything, it's just one step, but
Yeah, it's a big deal. It feels like a really big deal.
and what a strange year to get it.
My
I mean,
God.
just anything that happens this year by definition is strange.
Totally. Yes. Yes, this year I also was awarded a Mizuno running company. I'm an artist ambassador for this Mizuno brand of running clothes and shoes. And I'm like, this is freaking great, but like, we can't run races. And, and that was one of the benefits. And then, yeah,
Yikes, Mary, I've lost you. Oh, I lost you for a moment.
are we back?
We're back.
Okay.
We're
What is
back. I
that?
don't know if it's you, but you were talking when I lost you. Now maybe the video will catch up, but just in case, you were just talking about it's just yeah you. So running the races was supposed to be, I suppose, the entry fee.
Yep, the perks of that, and now, songwriter, but where do I perform? It's just planting seeds for the future, right?
Well, I think it's an especially great honor because it's a year when a lot of people are listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to music, really listening to music.
Absolutely.
You know,
Self-included. Oh my God.
well, there's a difference between going to see music and going to listen to, and listening to music. I
Yes.
miss going to see music,
Me
to be
too.
fair. But, in a year when people are really paying attention, that's when you get the nod. That is special.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
that's fantastic. And that kind of leads you up to you've got new.
Yes. Yes.
Tell me about it.
Oh
Tell
my
me what
God.
makes you proudest or what you're most excited about.
Well, I feel it's definitely the most ambitious project I've ever taken on. But it was actually, it was many years in the making, like leading up to it. But then, like the actual recording only took 3 months or so.
Okay.
But like in like really big, really shortly timed chunks. But it was just like it was done. And but it was produced by Steve Price from the Suburbs, and he's a former instructor at IPR and recording engineer. And so he did the recording, and he also played bass and producing. And then, yeah, I had a former manager who curated the band, and he, which was like, I've had like many band incarnations, and I'm so grateful for everyone that I've got to play with. So it was a little like, oh, I had to tell the current people I was playing with that like my manager wanted this like new thing with these people that he has worked with before. So that was like, oh, very hard. But also like they're such studio musicians, and they brought so much, so many ideas and layering, and not that, yeah, I don't want to dig myself a hole here, but it was like, this was like a curated band in some ways, and then some other friends with strings and harmony and special guests. And so, yeah, Shannon Fried Rubin from Cloud Cult plays violin on there, and Julia Floberg, she's a fantastic cellist and songwriter. Amazing. Yes. And then Jeremy Ilvasacker on guitar, who's like my guitar hero. He's such a master. He just is mesmerizing. And then Richard Medic played drums, and like his drumming, oh my God, it's like perfection. Like he had a whole bin of Tupperware, like percussive, like, all sorts of maracas and things. So it was many drum and percussion takes. Nice. And then of course Steve on bass, just like, so like, he just knew right what to put in, like, for the bass lines. And then am I missing? Stephen Kung played trumpet. He plays trumpet in the Suburbs. And my friend Crystal sang some harmonies. Crystal Meister. So yeah, like the crew was just a pleasure to work with. And then we brought in Alan Sparhawk, did a duet with me, a ton of Tom Petty cover, and that was really special because initially he was just going to sing harmonies over what I had already recorded. But then when we got to the studio, we did this at Creation Audio, which has a grand piano, and Tom Herbers recorded it, and Steve too. But Alan, like, he was just taking many takes, and like the harmony wasn't syncing up, and he's like, "Can we just sing it live?" So we sat at the piano side by side for like hours, like singing the song over and over, and it was just like really so cool because I've like, Alan actually reviewed my very first album in 2000 in the in the Duluth Ripsaw, and it was very like, this is really intimate and really raw, and like if you feel like a peeping Tom, you might like this album. And like, yeah, because like, and it's, my music is still like that, but it's just been special. He's been there the whole time through my career. And then Adam Levy played some guitar and sang this duet with me in this rockin' song. So that's like kind of the collaboration. It's a big one.
It's amazing. It's a huge list of who's who in Minnesota. I mean, it's fantastic to see musicians lift up other musicians.
100%. Yes. So grateful. Mm-hmm.
We'll just take over. Minnesota musicians will take over the whole.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, it is fun to see that. It's kind of amazing to see that. And as you said, this has been a while in the making, because there were a lot of songs I was like, oh, good, I'm glad this was on it. And then there were a few songs that were new that I hadn't heard. I haven't heard anyone play live in a few months now.
Right. 100%. Yeah, a few of those songs, Tequila Song and Jerk and The Riverman, those were kind of written in like 2005, 2007. So, but they never found their place like on my other albums. So they finally found a home and they fit in there, I think. I mean, it's very like, it's a weirdly eclectic, like there's a lot of like different genres going on within the album, but I feel like they fit in there, hopefully. I don't know. What do you think?
I do think so. But it is always interesting to me how, what you choose and what keeps for another, and did you have a theme going into it, or did you sort of say, well, this?
Ooh, well, I knew the title track would be "The World Is Your Lover," and so, I mean, we can take that in many ways as, the world, like Mother Nature, and like there's like, again, back to yoga philosophy in Tantra, not like the kinky tantric sex way, but like in the
all right, whatever you want to talk about.
But in like tantric philosophy, that there's like the that we are everything, and like everything is divine. So like everything that we experience is like part of the divine plan, and so like, and just like atomically and like molecularly, like we are all like everything, so just like looking at the shit that comes your way. I know you said I could swear on here, so
so this is gonna be the first time we can talk about all of your songs, Mary. No FCC worries here. It's fantastic.
Yay, thank you. But yeah, all the shit that comes your way is like, it's like part of the divine. It's all divine. This too must be Shakti, is what one of my teachers says, is like Shakti is like the everything and like the power and the flow. So that's like one way that I was looking at the album, and then another way was like, the kind of like relationship drama, and just kind of like, here's a lot of stuff that has happened, and let's have like a giant a giant collection of reflection on some of those lessons. So
Whoosh is right. Well, sure, and it does feel very much, there are obviously some songs that I will say come off as being extremely personal, and having to do with a relationship. And then, as you said, a song like "The World Is Your Lover" or "Shitstorm," that feels way more like Mother Nature.
Yes. Yep.
I think "Shitstorm" especially.
Yes. Yeah, that was a total download from taking hikes along the Rio Grande when I was in New Mexico for a while, and really. And also, like, I literally in that song talk about having a vision of Lake Superior turning into a desert.
Yep.
Like, I was in Duluth driving down Masaba, for Duluthians, or if you visit there a lot, just coming down the hill, and you get that big vista. It's stunning. Like, it just goes on. And but I, like, was like, oh my God, it was a desert. It was, I get, like, chills just thinking about it. But, I mean, that will probably happen, in the next 1,000 years.
Hopefully in 1,000,
300 years. You know what I mean? Like the Earth, as we know, does these things, and the landscapes change, and so. But that was a little too close to home. So, and just the fact that people want that water, they want the pipeline of water to Arizona, and just like super weird stuff like that. So yeah, it's just everything is debatable, and goods and bads, but I think just leave the water in the lake. Be nice.
Cool. Those of us in Minnesota, we just take for granted water is all around us, and it's it's fairly potable. It's not. It wouldn't take much to be. I live by the Mississippi, so I say that advisedly. But it is. But you go in other parts of the world, and you recognize, and you've done a ton of travel. Yes. I'm sure where water is a much more better regarded commodity.
Yes. India, I've been so lucky to travel and be, I went to India 2 times in the last 2 years, which was totally not really, it was just sort of like, okay, we're doing this. And you have to have bottled water, or like a really good filter. And so I was gifted a beautiful filter that I used a lot, but I also was like, but it's also just like our stomachs aren't used to that. That's like, those people are so strong and hardy too. And like, but we just are like, everything's so like hygienic here and just purified to the, you know, nines. So just being aware of like, okay, bottled water, which sucks, but yeah, yep.
It's what you got to do.
But then water's so holy, like the Ganga, holy Ganga River, and just, but you know, where it's starting to flow down. Like I was in Rishikesh in the Himalaya, and it's like bright. It was bright blue when I was there in January, just like rushing down from the snowy mountains. And then, but then as you get further down, it's like sewage flows in and garbage, and it just gets like more gray and like. But they say, like, it's not the river that's polluted, it's, like, the pollution that's flowing through it. It's, you know. Yeah, but the river itself is pure, which I like that. I like that. Anyway.
I kind of forget that you really, when did you come back?
March 21st.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was gone end of December to March 21st, and I had to come home 2 weeks early, which is fine, but it sucked, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that had to be some serious culture shock to come in.
Yes. Super weird. Really weird. I had to reroute my flights, and I went through Osaka, Japan, and there was no one in the airport. Like,
oof.
It was like really apocalyptic. Like I took this photo like standing in the balcony overlooking like the waiting room, no one. And then there were like 4 like security officers like walking, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so end of the world. And you know, and then everyone was wearing masks, which they do anyway in Asia a lot, so it's no big deal over there, you know.
No.
I mean, it is because they're protecting for pollution, but yeah. Anyway.
Very. Do you write when you're traveling like that?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I write not so much like full-on songs, but like I'll try and do like tons of journaling. Like I really love to keep a travel journal. I was not so great on it this trip, but I did poetry. I was doing a lot of poetry, yeah, and that's where a lot of my songs come from, is like the backlog of sort of stream of consciousness poetry. Things have gotten more structured as I've aged, but my older stuff is really like ethereal and sort of swirly.
Have you how is the writing now in the new world?
The new world. Since I've been like sitting on this album, so this album was done almost 2 years. It's almost been done for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we recorded, let's see, 2018. It was done a year and a half. March of 2019 it was done. So it's been sort of sitting there, and then I was going to release it in May, but that got pushed back to August next month. 3 weeks. So I feel like when I have an album that's about to come out, I don't really write that much. It's like I feel like I can't like move forward until like that chapter is closed, or just like, so I've written a few things, and some poems are coming, and I've been experimenting, just like kind of doing like experimenting on I bought a sitar, so I'm playing the sitar now. And nice. So I've been learning how to play this new instrument, and yeah, so the writing has not, I think it'll start to come after I release in a few weeks.
Is it like, do you feel at peace with not writing? Do you like, all right, this is my time to relax, this is my time to not have pressure? How does that feel, you know? I mean,
that's a good question. Yeah, I guess I don't really I haven't really felt like I haven't really felt a pressure to write right now. It felt sort of a like, because this album is coming, I'm like, oh, I have this new thing to like really hold and like put out, and I'm super happy with it. And but I feel like things are really like incubating, and there's definitely so much shifting. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm learning so much and overwhelmed right now with what I'm learning about our world and our city and myself as, you know, a white spiritual woman in Minneapolis. Like that it's like I don't know, I'm like really trying to find the right words, which I know there might not be right words, but we just have our filter. And so I feel like it's a time of really great learning, and so I'm okay with not expressing it just yet. Yeah,
I like that. I mean, I think that I'm a firm believer kind of in the subconscious, and just sort of saying, all right, more, you know, the stuff I do is not as nearly as creative as the stuff that you do, but well, you know, what's funny, what comes to mind is sometimes I have to do some serious coding, and there are times where I just have to say, I'm going to come back to that tomorrow. You know, it's a short, it's a little mini, and then you come back and you go, oh, done.
wow.
You know, but I think you're, you know, my grandma kind of taught me that. You know, it's just with Scrabble in the newspaper. If you can't figure that out, just walk away for an hour. But it is true. I mean, I think if you can take the time to you know, to let the part of you that's not so conscious cook, you can cook.
Wow, that's so cool that you do coding. I knew that, but I didn't like know that.
I mean, when I say I do coding, well, depends who you talk to. Who else is in the room? Before I say I do coding.
Well, that's rad.
I do enough to give me a headache sometimes. I will
For sure.
that.
That's awesome.
But so one of the songs that I always, I'm just gonna say it. My favorite song that you do is "You Fuck Me Up."
Awesome. Wow.
I shouldn't even say this out loud, except I won't say the name. I remember one of the first times I met you, and you were playing that on stage. I'm like, see that guy?
Oh, yes, I remember that.
And it's so funny because I listened to it now. And so I know that song it's got to be at least 3 or 4 years old. I mean, it's yeah. How is it cathartic to play? Is it different to play it now than when you played it? It was funny when I listened to the version. Yes, version. When I listened to the version, it felt like it's slightly more mellow than I remembered. But
more mellow,
raw. How does that feel to play over the years?
Oh wow. You know, when it was fresh, it was like, yes, dagger in the heart, you know. And now, you know, to be real, like we haven't played that live very often with the new arrangement, because there's Richard has like his special electronic drum programming that he brings for that one, and it's like extra gear, and it's like, if we're gonna do that, we have to like really do it, you know. So but then, you know, if I do it solo the way that I originally wrote it, it's like it feels far more like I can really get into that, like, holy moly, this was an intense time, you know. But with the band, it's like supportive, like they're like holding it as well. And then, like you said, it does mellow it out with the drums, and except for that, like, you know, the big fill in that song. But you know, I do like, I try to go back to the place where I wrote all the songs whenever I play them, which is like, which makes me so exhausted when I was just
going to say, that must be exhausting.
Yes. Yes. And it's also, though, like, it's just more real. I can't, like, it's like, I can't fake it, you know?
Method acting, yes.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that would be, I mean, it's because there is so much emotion in so many of your songs that that has really got to be.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, performing's actually not my favorite thing. I love it, but it's very taxing. And like, I'm sort of like I'm more introverted than you would think. I mean, a lot of performers are like that too, but like, I think I get more energy being alone, but I need to be in community, and I need to teach, and I need to perform, and I need to have the band, and all this stuff. But like, I need to like come home to myself and just be like, just holy shit, like regroup. Yeah, so it takes a little while. So I do like the traveling, like I travel alone a lot, and I just like to sort of simmer in the rejuvenation of just my own space. But yeah, so performing, yeah, it takes a lot.
I also next best thing to traveling alone, I travel with my 3 daughters, and they won't.
Amazing.
Which is great because we have our times together, but
Yeah.
they range from 16 to 22. So it's
Wow.
it's awesome because there was a time when they were this to this, and I'd turn around and count 3 noses wherever we went. But now I mean, this summer obviously there's limited to no travel. We all went back to Ireland. We'd lived there for years last summer. Thankfully, we went last summer. But I got to spend so much of it by myself. And when I was younger, I was somebody who loved to travel by myself.
Yes.
Isn't there something about it? And I mean,
yes.
Ireland's one thing. You're going to India. You're going to some amazing, a very different culture.
Yeah. Yeah. India, I had a program that I went to, so I was like really supported there. Like, I mostly would not want to travel alone there. My ex traveled with me for both trips. He met me when we like went off and did more stuff. But yeah, solo woman travel India just is a little like more anxiety provoking, and even some my friends, women friends there are like, yeah, it's probably better to be in a group or have a few people or. So, but Bali is very friendly for women solo travelers. It's really, really beautiful and easy, and what a super friendly culture. But yeah, like Ireland. You lived there. I want to interview you about that.
Yeah, well, isn't it funny? Wherever you haven't been, the road less traveled.
Totally. Yeah.
You've been to Iowa? What?
I know, right? What is there? It's so interesting. Yes.
So travel obviously is not part of your routine now, and performing isn't part of your routine now. What have you been able to replace other things? Have you found the sitar, but have you found other?
Yeah, it's weird, like how fast the days go. I don't know. Like, you feel that? I'm just like, what the, like, how is it 8:30 or however late it is right now? I just, I run. I'm a runner, so I run every day. I do like about a 5K every day. I have a very intensive morning routine so I do a little yoga postures, and then I do mantra chanting, and then I do this prayer that a shaman in Bali prescribed to me. So it takes a long time. And I'm sort of like, some days, like, I'm still teaching a lot on Zoom. So I teach yoga on Zoom, and I teach music lessons on Zoom. So I've been able to sort of cobble things together with that, which I'm super grateful for. But yeah, I've got I feel like my morning routine is keeping me sane for sure. Besides that though, I kind of I've been starting to read again. I had a period where I just I don't know, I'm a book hoarder. Like, I love them, I buy them, I'm just obsessed. I love books, I have so many books, but I finding the time to read, which used to be my favorite thing in the world, was just too much of a luxury or something, but I need it. I love it. So every day I'm sitting in the yard, I'm reading. That just started a month ago, so I'm really glad to get back to reading.
Yeah. Nice. You might have to give me some books.
Yes.
As a kid I was a voracious reader, and I read so much for work. Work that but I was a librarian.
That's amazing. Wow.
And I know you are doing did I see a beginner yoga.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I do 2 beginner yoga classes Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at with Big River Yoga Studio in Minneapolis, and everything's on Zoom, so everyone can come from wherever they want. And then I'm gonna launch. I started to get into like making e-courses.
Oh,
Like,
good for you.
yeah, yes. So I have a whole one I'm gonna release in September on mantras and like the yoga of sound. And then I'm gonna do a beginner yoga one and a transition, like a 14-day vegan transition with my like doctor friend Shauna. So yeah, so that's another thing.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
The rabbit hole that I'm not going to go down right now is to say, what platform are you using? Because I just that's awesome. That'll be
Teachable. That's what I'm gonna use.
okay. Yes, just got. In fact, I'll tell you about somebody I know does a lot of holistic occupational therapy. There you go.
Wow, cool.
I will connect you with Emily.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, that could be. But I was just, I think now is such a great time to be doing some of that because people have the time. Although, as you said, it is funny because we I used to see music 6 or 7 nights a week generally,
Yes.
which means I got some free time. I don't know what
Right. It just goes. Yeah, it's bizarre.
yeah, you'd think I'd have a novel or learn another language or
Totally.
nope. Nope.
Yeah, I feel like some people are feeling like down on themselves for not producing the thing with this time, but it's just like, don't, like, this is a crazy time. Like, there's so much loss and like so much like that we can't do. It's depressing, so like if you're feeling that, if you're watching this, don't feel bad. Like,
No.
yeah,
I'm totally with you. And listening to, today we found out what was going to happen in Minnesota with schools, online, offline, hybrid. Turns out they're going to choose by county. And I have a kid who's still K through 12.
Mm-hmm.
What is so frustrating, and it's easy to see it with students, harder to see it with us. We still have 2019 expectation and standards in 2020 world. That's like, somebody taking away my computer and handing me a crayon and say, build a website.
No.
Totally. And I think we just need to understand that if you can find something else to do, that's amazing. I mean, but maybe your something else to do is completely to watch everything on Netflix available. I mean,
yes. Yeah, and like you're learning, like we're taking in, even if you're sitting in front of Netflix forever, like you're learning a ton, So
yeah, it might be, but that's
yeah, exactly. Depends.
It'll be, I wish, this is when you wish you could do a little time travel. I would love to do time travel just 3 years in advance because and maybe you're seeing this choice. My daughters have sort of said, well, so this is going to make such cultural difference.
Yeah.
And they'll say like 9/11. I'm like, 9/11 did not make a cultural difference. I mean, it made a lot of differences in a lot of ways.
Yes.
I said, but I think this is going to be more like people who went through the Depression and then still save plastic bags.
Yes.
This is going to be 20 years from now. Any of us here now are going to be like, don't hug me.
Yes. Yes.
Just the changes like that are just going to be, so it'd be, the researcher in me is fascinating to flip ahead and to see.
Totally. 100%.
But have you seen any silver linings for you during this time?
It's interesting, like before I left in December, I felt like something was going to shift like in me, or I just was not sure like what my music would look like, or if I needed to take a break, or that's the thing is like I always am feeling like, this is kind of pointless, like nobody cares, like, but then I like still put it out there, and then so that award yesterday was just like, oh my god, but yeah, before I left, I felt this sort of like, I'm not sure what's going to happen. And I just, maybe I won't perform for a while. Like I was kind of already feeling that. So I think like the silver lining for me is just, it's more of like, it feels like this collective, like awakening. Like we're all being forced to have deep reflection about what is important to us. And, you know, the people, like who is sticking around in our lives in this time? Like who are we, you know what I mean?
Really
Or
good.
maybe we're reaching out to people that we forgot about and we're like, oh my God, you know, I feel like there's all of this for the people that have had breaks. Like I know there are people busting their asses working, like essential workers and stuff like that. So maybe this is just like, you're like, what are you even talking about? I don't have time for this. But I think a lot of people are really looking at, and like the imminence of death, you know, like the threat is like more, I mean, we could die at any moment, anytime, with or without a global pandemic.
Right.
But like there's like I sort of like I sing about death a lot in my songs, and it's just like this is what we got, and how can we make do with what we got in this time without like the shiny, like we can't travel right now, we can't like have that thing that we've been looking forward to, like so much has been taken away, so what are we going to hold on to? Yeah. So my glimmers are sort of like a just sort of a interest in like what is going on collectively. Yeah.
Well, and we're, you know, we both live in the Twin Cities, and collectively, starting on May 25th, our world's changed, and
Yeah.
and I know that you are politically active, and you're
Yes.
vocal about your.
Yes.
It's in
Yes.
some ways, obviously a horrific thing that should have never happened,
Yes.
but maybe. You know, I feel like I need to say that 10 times. Shouldn't have happened. Wish it hadn't happened.
100%.
But in the same way, now is a perfect time for people we were talking about before, to be listening.
Yes.
I think this is a time when it was kind of that perfect storm of people, and I was probably out on the front lines more than I was watching it. But I was certainly, well, I have two girls that are in Winnipeg. They're watching everything through Unicorn
Yes.
Riot.
Yeah, me
watching
too. 100%.
all online, and so it's a time for people to really sort of evaluate how they're feeling about some of that, and that gives me a little bit of hope, like maybe something, because it's hard to think that you're going to come through the coronavirus, like that's going to give us a lesson. I mean,
Yeah.
we can choose to learn something from that, but I don't know that it's, you know,
Yeah.
but with some of the civil unrest, I'm like, maybe now is a time when things can really.
Yes.
I keep saying to my dad, what was it like in 1968 come August?
Yes.
You know, which is just you know, a little over 50 years ago.
Right.
And I think that things did not progress enough, but there was you know.
Yes.
It would be nice to see
I know. Yeah, deep reflection there, definitely. I was really like, I was a former business owner. I mean, I'm still like a business owner, but it's more sort of, you know, my thing is my
Right.
body, and, you know, but I owned a yoga studio for 3 years, and I still, like, I think about, like, yeah, like I actually got called out or called in by a black woman, an amazing black musician that I deeply respect, and she was like offended by some of the things I was posting, because I was really like so upset about everything burning, and like, you know, like I was like, oh my God, like this is like the hook and ladder, like, right, oh my God, right. You know, like I was supposed to have my album release on May 22nd, and like that shit all went down like May 26th, and so, but her reaching out to me, like, I immediately did the white fragility thing. I don't know if, I mean, everybody is reading that now. This is a great book to read as a white person. but I immediately was like, oh my God, crying and feeling like so ashamed and like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know how to talk about these things. And she was like, it's not my job to educate you, but like, I would, just take a look at why are you posting, try not to center yourself, like try not to make it like, I'm not speaking verbatim, but like,
right.
I was making it about me and my pain when it's like so much more about like, this is a movement and like this needs to go down and people need to like witness like this horrible thing that our country is built on and how we are complicit in this. And like, it's just like, it's so important and so heavy duty, and it's really amazing that people are like, wow, yeah, yep, let's look at this, let's like really dig into this. So yeah, it's heartening to see people starting to get more into their biases and their built-in stuff that we are just like swimming in it. It's just how we come to be as Americans. Like, we're swimming in racist ideology, from day one. So yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
Oh my God.
But it is, I think the tools are there. I mean, if it weren't for the cameras, I think,
yes.
It's
yes.
People wouldn't believe. I mean, there are decades and decades of people not believing. If it weren't for people having the time to be out on the streets, if it weren't for the, so hopefully there will be, things are getting torn down, and that's a hard time.
Yeah.
But things will be rebuilt.
Yes.
And hopefully in a stronger way.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm going to spin it around.
Yeah.
Like this, I mean, I just think The World Is Your Lover is such a nice, it's a good time for this to come out.
I'm glad you think so. Yeah, I hope so.
I do. Well, and I understand, kind of all new music, all new everything was on hold for a while. It was funny. We had an interview with somebody the day after George Floyd was murdered. Mm-hmm. And I've just been at the protest and done it, but it was still so new. I have a friend who just lives on Chicago and 30th. So we're, kind of front row. And we did the interview, and in the end we decided to kind of pull it because that's just not, we don't know what to do. We don't know. It's, but I think that the time now is to come out with music, and music heals, music soothes, and music becomes the soundtrack for difficult times.
Yes, 100%.
So and I think it's gonna, as I said, my favorite song is "You Fucked Me Up," but I think Shitstorm's gonna be. I'm just picking all the naughty words. I'm like, because we not can. At all the case. It's not at all the case because it's a competition. There are so many songs that I love on here, but I think it's Shitstorm that's gonna be. I think that's one for the air, for the time that's in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that song, I mean, it is a shitstorm time. It's very apocalyptic. Walls are crashing down, Yeah, the earth is in so many ways. And we are, again, just back to that sort of like Shakti Tantra, like things are falling down. The earth is like, there was just a big earthquake, California, or just, not super big, but like big enough. And fires, all the things, it's
all
just
the things.
It seems like more, but I don't know if it is. We just like know more. It is. What am I saying?
I think it is. I mean, you would take a look at locally, the heat. This is much hotter summer than it's. It's funny because as I think through of the one is I lived in Ireland when the volcano in Iceland erupted. That was a time when, we've got ashes off the.
Amazing.
I took an airplane. God. I got off it kind of went over 6 weeks, and I must have come home or gone back, whatever. But I get off an airplane and I could see all the paint is stripped off the airplane. I am not a good flyer. Thank God I didn't know about that.
Ooh.
So I think that there are bubble ups, but this is certainly
Yes. A big bubble up.
a big bubble up. But we can push through.
Yeah, even this corona, the pausing of so much travel and like it's giving the earth a break, you know. I've noticed more animals, creatures, bird song, you know, in the city. I don't know if you've noticed that too, but just seems like more pause.
It's funny because I often hike down Whittetonka, so which is there. So I'm used to seeing deer all the time, you know. But around here, you know what? We've seen more foxes and more little wolves around, you know, down by the river than normally.
Cool.
Yeah, scared the bejesus out of me.
The wolf?
Well, yeah, the foxes are one thing, but we've seen some, or coyotes. I suppose they're probably coyotes. Nature girl that I am. I'm sure they're coyotes, but you know, I don't want to see any of those either.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, they're trouble.
They're trouble.
That's a cool sign, though. I mean,
it is, as you said, it's a whole time for, you know. Well, as I said, 3 years from now, it's going to be super interesting.
yes, 100%.
I know. 3 years from now, what do you think people will remember most from this right now? What would you?
Ooh.
I feel like it's like asking which of my kids I like best. There's an answer, it just changes every day. But what would be your?
What will people remember from that?
What's your favorite song today on the?
Today it's Hawaii, which is right near the end. It's like a quieter, slower, like mostly piano and strings, about purging the past. And purging the past, coming out with your deep held secrets, just being like more authentic and free in yourself so that you can merge with the Mother Ocean. Right?
Hey, I'll take it. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Oh my God.
Remind folks what the CD releases on August 22nd.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the CD releases August 21st.
Okay,
and then
thank you.
Yeah. Oh no, you're great. And then we're doing a live stream at the Sacred Heart Cathedral in Duluth, where I've recorded actually 4 other albums, and it's so beautiful in there. The Crash Test Dummies have recorded there, and of course Low has recorded there. So yeah, we'll be live streaming from there, 22nd. Then we're doing a Minneapolis release October 23rd.
Oh, okay.
At Hook and Ladder. I almost forgot to say that. And that'll be a Hook stream / maybe audience. Who knows what October will bring? I'm not planning on it, but it'll be with Turn Turn Turn.
Nice.
Yep, and Alan Sparhawk as well. Alan Sparhawk's going to open that or support it.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get to sit down next to each other on the piano, but
It's so funny. One of the first times that I saw you play, Mary, I think you had a funeral for your piano.
Amazing. Yes. Yeah, I was like, this has got to go. I need to evolve. And but this new album is kind of bringing it all back, you know. It's
nice to hear both.
Good. Good.
Well, it's funny because then you brought up the sitar, and I was like, oh, it's going to be another,
Yes. Yep.
Another card for the hand. So good. Mary, thank you so much for being with us. As I said, I have really enjoyed The World Is Your Lover. I'm going to enjoy that, the show coming from Duluth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's so fun to talk to you. I'm sure we could talk for many more hours.
I know. I was thinking that. And I was like, oh, well, we'll go off level.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.